Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good day to you, and welcome to Bayou Sports Talk here down in the Bayou of Louisiana, baby. I'm Kay, your moderator. Let's holler at your panel before you. Coach, holler at them.
It's me, Coach 67 Sports TV. Shout out to the awesome and amazing LDBC Lions in basketball community. Shout out to the greatest university in the world, the Southern University, home of the mighty Jaguars. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride.
All right, baby of the bunch, holler at them.
Oh, what's up, y'all? Baby of the bunch, Raymond here. Can't wait to get into our discussion today. I'm pretty sure y'all gonna enjoy the stuff that we discussed today. But yeah, sit back, relax, and just enjoy the show like Coach says.
All right, guys, let's start off kind of slow like we normally do, but we still diving in. Let's talk about boxing. Ray, start us off because last week we talked about the big card they had with all the different boxers. So start me off and tell me what you think about the fights.
The day of reckoning.
The day of reckoning, man. Deontay Wilder was the reckoning. I was reading some articles where they say the fight that AJ Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder signed before the outcome of their fight. Some I think I was reading where it was saying like the fight still could happen and AJ was still down for doing the fight and stuff like that. But man, Deontay, losing really messed up, that promotion and those plans. But yeah, for as far as boxing, Anthony Joshua did what he did, what everybody expected him to do. Deontay Wilder was upsetted, and just overall for the state of boxing, it's the end of the year. You know, yeah, just waiting until next year, see what next year sets up. Um, I'm waiting for the Earl Spence and Terrence Bud Crawford too. Um, See if this fight, of the young talents of Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney gonna get set up. But it looks like Devin Haney wants to go fight Ryan Garcia. I didn't know this, but in the amateurs, Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney are like 3 for 3 or 2 for 2, so they even. So that could be a little cool backstory. But me personally, right now in both of their careers, I feel like Devin Haney beats Ryan Garcia easily. I feel like the fight that most people want to see is Devin Haney versus Gervonta Davis. But we'll see, where promotion goes for all of those things. But yeah, that's just the state of boxing. It's a lot of potential fights and stuff. But yeah,
All right, Coach, tell me what your thoughts. I know you have something for me.
All right,
Do
yeah.
you agree with Ray? And are you looking forward to the next fight?
All right, no worry, but Coach gonna get to all of that. First and foremost, in terms of the day of reckoning card, I mean, this was like probably one of the most loaded cards I've seen in boxing like ever. I mean, it was a loaded card. To accommodate Rude Dog last week, of course, he couldn't be with us today. Shout out to Rude Dog. But to accommodate him, I wanted to wait until like all the card was finished. But when we came on, like, I think Daniel Dubois and Terrell Big Baby Miller was fighting. Daniel Dubois knocked him out. In addition to that, my favorite fighter in all of boxing, the Bronze Bomber Deontay Wilder. He had a disappointing performance against Joseph Parker. He didn't make any excuses, but there was a lot of ring rust. He hadn't fought in over a year because, if I'm not mistaken, I think, if y'all check my channel, I did a post-fight reaction on when he beat Hellenius, I think. And I think the same night he knocked out Hellenius was the same night I think Southern beat Alcorn State, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, he hadn't fought in over a year. He was trying to get fights during the course of the year. He tried to fight, different guys. He tried to fight Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz priced himself out. So he tried to fight different fights during the course of the year, but nobody really wanted to fight him. And instead of Anthony Joshua being the man and just taking the fight, he claimed he needed another tune-up, like, tune-up number 20 when it comes to Wilder. Every time he's supposed to fight Wilder, he always found a way not to fight him. He instead of fighting Wilder, he fought Alexander Usyk and all these other guys, Carlos Takam and all these. He's just been avoiding, ducking Wilder, and he said out his own mouth, it doesn't matter when he fighting. The only thing people gonna remember is that the fact that he actually fought him. So he's been trying to age Wilder out. Wilder, he didn't look impressive. The ring rust was apparent last week, and then of course Anthony Joshua, he beat Otto Wallin. So a lot of people say it messed up their plans, but to me, if Joshua really wanted to fight, I mean, it should be no reason why he should still avoid it. Because Wilder has 3 losses. He lost to, well, first and foremost, Joshua should have fought when they were both undefeated. Wilder was the WBC champion. AJ was the unified champion. They should have fought then. And even Joseph Parker. When Joseph Parker was WBO champion and Anthony Joshua was unified, instead of him fighting Wilder, he another one. He didn't want no smoke with Wilder when Wilder was young and in his prime. Instead, he fought Joshua. So as far as I'm concerned, a lot of these guys, they avoided Deontay Wilder when they could have fought him when he was younger, when he was on this tear just knocking people out. They didn't want no smoke. So, and the crazy thing about it, Joseph Parker, he fought 4 times this year. So he fought 4 times this year. Wilder hadn't fought in over a year. So the ring rust was there. More than anything, I think he just beat Wilder on the fact that he was just more active fighter, And Champ didn't make no excuses. He interviewed with 7-8, and he just said, hey, he's at peace at this point in his career. He doesn't really need to fight another fight again because from a financial standpoint, he has more than enough money, and he lives in the state of Alabama. He doesn't live in New York. He doesn't live in California. So of course, that money he has, it goes a lot further in Alabama than it would if he lived in New York or LA. So he good. He just needs to be more active, and he needs to find that desire to want to fight again. Because I don't know if y'all saw, Rocky 3. Essentially, I think Wilder's at this stage in his career where he's become civilized. You don't have that dog in him no more because he's at such a peaceful place in his life. So maybe Father Time is caught up to him. Who knows? But, I won't see Champ. I mean, if he decides he won't hang it up, I'll be cool with that. But as a Wilder fan, I won't see him eventually become undisputed. So, hopefully we get that in terms of Joshua and Wilder in their next fight, but we'll see. But in terms of what King Ray was saying, in terms of Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, I think more than likely that's the next fight because Teofimo Lopez. He don't want no smoke with Devin Haney. He ducked Haney at 135 when they could have fought for undisputed. He ducked him and he fought Kambosos and he lost to Kambosos. So he don't want no smoke with Devin Haney. Shakur Stevenson. He don't want no smoke with Devin Haney either. Tank. Of course, Tank hasn't fought any real fighter of note. He ducked the fight with Tevin Farmer. He ducked the fight with Mr. Gary Russell Jr. So I'm going to be honest with you. I think more than anything, I think Tank, of course, he converted to Islam. He bought a whole block in where he's from in Baltimore. And some individual decided they wanted to burn everything he bought, they burn it. So it's like, man, so Tank has a lot going on in his personal life, but at this point, with the way PBC is going, he's their cash cow. Tank is PBC's cash cow. They're not gonna let him fight Devin Haney and let everything go to waste. So he's a draw, and he's a draw with fighting like no name competitors. So they're just gonna keep the cash flow rolling in, like Floyd Mayweather Jr. used to say when he used to fight no name fighters. Hey, I'm robbing the bank. So that's what Tank and Team Tank gonna keep doing. They're just gonna keep robbing the bank. He's not gonna fight Shakur. He's not gonna fight Devin, and Shakur's not gonna fight Devin either. So I think Devin Haney just gonna fight who he can He tried to fight Matias. Matias's team hasn't responded. So more than anything, I think what's going to happen is I think Devin going to beat Ryan. More than likely, Tank is going to fight Esau Cruz in another fight that nobody wants to see. And Shakur is going to kind of keep. He another one. Right now he's one of the top ranked cash cows. So they're going to just keep fighting fights that they shouldn't fight. And, Anthony Joshua should be a cautionary tale from the standpoint that basically, instead of milking these fights the way Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Manny Pacquiao did, you just can't keep milking these fights forever. You got to let these fighters fight when they're young and they're at the top of their game, because you can recover from a loss. But if Tank was to fight, I don't know, Shakur, and he gets badly beat, that's the first thing all of his so-called fans gonna say. He really didn't fight nobody anyway to begin with. So he just might as well, fight one of these big dogs and get it out the way. But PBC is not gonna let that happen because, they no longer have their deal with Showtime. Showtime is no longer in boxing. Fox is no longer in boxing. They have a deal with Amazon Prime. So more than likely, with their new deal on Amazon Prime, Tank is probably gonna fight Esau Cruz. So there's no way they're gonna let their cash cow, fight that type of fight. So it's not gonna happen. But in terms of what people was talking about the fight of the year, a lot of people say it was Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford had like one good fight, the biggest fight of the year against Errol Spence Jr. But my personal opinion, fight of the year is hands down Devin Haney because, he beat Loma. He beat Loma. He beat Cambosos early in the year. He beat Loma. And in addition to that, he had an amazing performance against hometown guy Regis Prograis. So with those three fights, I think that makes Devin Haney the fight of the year.
Well, guys, let's dive into the HBCU with their football season and so much has been going on with the HBCU. And so, Coach, start us off. What are your thoughts? Give me HBCU football news.
All right. Well, first and foremost, of course, we all know that FAMU, not only did they win the SWAC, but they beat MEAC champion Howard in the Celebration Bowl. That has already happened. However, it looks like more than likely he's going to take a job at the University of Duke to be their running backs coach. Some individuals speculate more than likely he's going to stay at FAMU because on paper right now, if we were to start the SWAC season right now on paper, FAMU has the best roster on paper. Because they got a lot of transfers from, Florida State, UCF, FAU, all of those Florida schools, those D1 schools in Florida. They got 3 and 4 star transfers from all of those schools that came into FAMU. And essentially, it looks like he's more than likely he's going to make a decision on Monday, but more than likely he's going to probably take the job at Duke, and then that's going to leave a head coaching vacancy at FAMU if he leaves. Because from what I'm understanding, like if he's a head coach now at FAMU, but if he takes the job at Duke, he's going to be the running backs coach. But it's even though he's taking a lesser position, it's at a PWI, a Power 5 school. More than likely he's going to make anywhere between $100,000 and $150,000 more, at the bigger school, as opposed to being the head coach at FAMU. So we'll see how that particular situation plays out. In addition to that, Texas Southern this past Thursday, they were supposed to make a decision on who's going to be their next head coach at Texas Southern. It came down to Alcorn State legend and head coach, recently Fred McNair, and former University of Miami, Houston, Texas wide receiver Andre Johnson. And most of the board wanted Fred McNair. However, 2 board members wanted Andre Johnson. I guess to pass whoever's going to be the next head coach at Texas Southern, it has to be a unanimous decision. They couldn't come to a unanimous decision, so they didn't hire anyone is ongoing to me, which is stupid. I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand Andre Johnson played in the NFL for the Houston Texans, but he has zero coaching experience, none. Whereas Fred McNair, he coached in 4 SWAC championship games. He won 2 of them, and he has 2 Celebration Bowl appearances. The worst he's done ever as a coach is 6-5. So you have a guy, even though he played in the NFL, has no coaching experience on one hand, and on the other hand, you have a guy, even though he played in the NFL, he has zero coaching experience. To me, is a no-brainer. I mean, I know Ed Reed was interested in the job. I understand that. Not only Ed Reed, but Andre Johnson, who, is like, he's secondary in terms of Fred McNair, in terms of the running. To me, it should be easy. I would take Fred McNair, and if Andre Johnson and Ed Reed interested in coaching, make Fred McNair the head coach, make Andre Johnson the offensive coordinator, and make Ed Reed the defensive coordinator. To me, it's easy money. To me, it's too much like right. But the fact that even though he's an NFL guy, a guy with no experience is, they want him to be the head coach over Fred McNair, at least those 2 board members anyway. So, we'll see how things play out. Just to kind of give a shout out to those individuals. Shout out to Motivation to Be a Millionaire. Good afternoon, family. Salute, Coach K, King Ray, and Rude Dog. Also, shout out to Relax and Calm Rain. Salute, family. Of course, Rude Dog couldn't be on. Shout out to Jay Barr. Salute, Coach 67 and panel. Salute, bro. Also, Adrian Cook said all of those recruits can leave also. And that's the funny thing about the whole FAMU situation. I mean, they got a lot of dogs in terms of their recruit class. But if Coach Willie Simmons leaves, more than likely all those recruits are going to leave also. And the crazy thing about it is Bethune-Cookman has a loaded class also. So I'm thinking that the state of Florida has a lot of NIL money floating around, because for FAMU and Bethune-Cookman to have all of these 3- and 4-star recruits coming from other Florida schools like Florida State, the University of Florida, FAU, FIU, all those other schools, I'm thinking there has to be a lot of NIL money in the state of Florida. To you, Raymond.
The state of HBCU football right now. Only thing I know Southern is just hired a new head coach. The same interim head coach that coached for the Bayou Classic. Just to reiterate what Coach said, FAMU won the Celebration Bowl, which is the HBCU, bowl, and currently what's going on. I mean, it's just the off season. Technically college football is still going on and stuff like that as well. But that's pretty much all I have on the current state of HBCU football.
Okay, guys. Let's go ahead and dive into since we're on the wave of football, let's talk about college football with the being that this is bowl season. Are the teams that you're rooting for prevailing, Ray? And also what are your thoughts about how the bowls are going?
You first, Raymond.
All right, yeah. So the bowls are going exactly as I kind of expected. Yesterday I had a good game with Clemson and Kentucky, which I think Kentucky should have won. But I was talking to one of my friends, and I'm like, Kentucky got, I believe it was like a 6-point lead, or they got a lead, and it's like 50 seconds left and 2 timeouts. Clemson had 2 timeouts, and it was going on a game-winning drive, and it's like they playing soft coverage, and I'm like, that's stupid. I mean, I know the whole point of soft coverage is not to give up anything deep, but if the opposing team got 50 seconds with 2 timeouts, you could throw like 4 easy dink and dunk passes, which gets you in the field goal range, like nothing. But I mean, as far as bowl season, it's going good. It's pretty entertaining. Didn't watch any of the lower class bowls. Around this time is when all the good bowl games are going to be played, like the New Year's Six bowls and stuff like that. So currently watching Ole Miss beat the brakes off of Penn State, which kind of expected. I seen Missouri kind of defensively wiped the floor with Ohio State, and it goes to show you how important Marvin Harrison Jr. was to the Ohio State team because, man, they could not do anything but score 3 points. But the real games comes on New Year's Day and tomorrow. So yeah, we gonna see what it's hitting for. I'm pretty sure Florida State has a point to prove, especially with them playing Georgia. I'm expecting Georgia to win easily, but hey, if Florida State goes out there and beats Georgia, you're gonna have some real controversy because if Florida State could beat the I mean, of course they can't defend it this year, but the defending national champions, they could have beaten anybody that's in that college football playoffs right now. So I'm very eager to see the Florida State and Georgia game and see what kind of controversy that might cause. But that's all I have on that subject.
Coach, your thoughts?
Yeah, truthfully speaking, when I was Raymond's age, I'm kind of dating myself in terms of age, but I used to watch like literally every single bowl game that came on television. From like late, like late November, early December, all the way up until this point. But now that I've aged and matured, truthfully speaking, all of those like secondary bowls, I really don't even pay attention to anymore. We really get to the point where probably in the next couple of days, that's when I'm really going to start like watching bowl games. But all these other bowls, to me, if it's not playoff bowls in terms of seeing, like the major bowls, like the Sugar Bowl, the Rose Bowl, those type of bowls. If it's not those bowls, to me, they're pointless. So I don't watch as many bowl games as I used to. But, Raymond brought up an excellent point. To me, I don't know if individuals know, but like back in the Gap, when they had all these different bowls, certain conferences had to play in certain bowls. Like, for example, the Rose Bowl, the Pac-10 champions used to play against the Big Ten champions. Then the Pac-12, Big Ten, it's the same thing. But now that you have a playoff system, essentially, certain bowls are selected, and then the one team play against the 4 team in one bowl, and 2 and 3 play in the other bowl. However, before you got to a BCS, even before the playoff system, before you got to the BCS, basically you could have a 1 team play against maybe like a 5 team in one bowl, and maybe a 2 and 3 in another bowl, and then if the number 2 team went undefeated during the course of the year, and they did well, and the number 1 team went undefeated during the course of the year, they couldn't play each other head to head, pre-BCS. So in some instances, you would have a split national championship. But the fact that Florida State went undefeated and they didn't make it into the playoffs, because of politics and money. I mean, that's essentially, we could say what we want, but that's the reason why the University of Texas and Alabama is in this playoff, because of politics and money as far as I'm concerned. To me, if Florida State, and even in that game against Georgia, they are underdog in my opinion. But to me, if they would have beat Georgia, I think Raymond makes an excellent point. I think they are, it's going to be real controversial, and despite who wins the national championship, especially if it's the University of Texas or Alabama, especially if one of those 2 teams win, to me, I think you have an argument for a split national championship in terms of Florida State and the University of Texas or Florida State and Alabama. To me, in that instance, you have some controversy on your hands. And shout out to my brother Jared 11 Green. Salute, folks. So back to UK.
Okay, guys. So we're still in the football thing, the swing of things. So let me ask you this. What do you think about the Saints? Coach, start me off.
Well, I mean, truthfully speaking, before we even get to the Saints, my brother Jared 11 Green on his channel, we talked about the biggest game of the NFL season was the 49ers and the Ravens. And, him, JB, and myself, we all picked the Ravens to win. And it kind of went back to the point that we were talking about in terms of Cam Newton. Cam Newton made a point basically saying that he felt like Brock Purdy in particular, and also Dak Prescott, he felt like they were game managers. Where if you look at somebody like Lamar Jackson, uh, uh, Pat Mahomes, they're game changers. Like their team win the games because of them, not in spite of them. Basically, like if you look at somebody like Brock Purdy, his whole job is not to mess it up. And of course, Cam Newton was proven right, and ESPN was proven wrong again. With their big winch, Kimberly A. Martin, who came after him and saying, look at the clothes he's wearing in the year to back up. He's not even in the league. They stand the third. And I'm thinking to myself, man, you don't even play in the NFL. This dude was an NFL MVP. So he knows what he's talking about. He has far more credibility in that subject compared to you. So you trying to make Cam Newton look like he's stupid. I mean, she never addressed his point, but it was more personal attacks than anything. And Cam Newton was proven right in terms of Christmas night. But in terms of the Saints, I'm gonna be truthful. The Saints are my team. I'm gonna be 100% honest. But like Raymond and I were saying, you can't count on the Saints. And they've had this stigma over the years where the Saints will be winning the game, and in the end, the Saints will let you down and disappoint you, and the other team will come back and win. And I think we're at the point now where the Saints don't even have a franchise type quarterback, in regards to someone like a Drew Brees. So, Derek Carr is trash. And I hate to say it, but it's gonna happen. They're gonna lose to the Bucs, and they're gonna be out of playoff contention. The Bucs are gonna win the NFC South, and the Saints are gonna go home, and that's what's gonna happen. We have 5 people that's watching us live, so if y'all have not done so, please hit the like button. You, Raymond.
As you can tell, yes, I got on my Cam Jordan shirt today. How many sacks he got on the season? I could count it on my hand. Probably could count it with like 3 fingers. Man, I'm more optimistic than Coach is. Of course, I'm pretty sure Coach would agree with this too. I want us to win tomorrow. I would love for us to win tomorrow. But will I set myself up to get gaslighted? No, I won't. Man, is there a possibility, a probability that the Saints can win tomorrow? Yes, the Saints are actually favored to win tomorrow. If you go look on ESPN has the Saints with a 52% chance, not a great chance, but 52% chance of winning that game. It's possible, Baker Mayfield is Baker Mayfield, but man, I don't know. I just don't have expectations. I seen a video. All the trash teams in the NFL, the Saints have beat them, like the Giants and all those trash teams. The Saints are undefeated against them. But the average and good teams, the Saints have only beat one average and good team. So it goes to show you, bro. The Saints they're better than the worst teams, but they're worse than the average and good teams. But man, I just don't know what to say at this point. My main focus is the offseason. It's what I really care about. I would love for us to win the last 2 games, win the NFC South, and make the playoffs. But I really wouldn't care, bro. I really wouldn't. It's not like we're gonna get to the Super Bowl. But Ryan Ramczyk is on IR, so our best offensive lineman is out. Everybody has lost hope in this season. Even if, like I said, even if we make it to the playoffs, I feel like everybody still has lost hope for this season. It's pointless. I really don't know what much else to say about the Saints at this point. It's almost like all year long, all season long, we've just been repeating ourselves on what they need to do, who they need to fire and let go. And it's like, hopefully, they make the right decisions this offseason. I heard Coach Bill Belichick is thinking about moving on from New England. Possibly could be a good replacement for Dennis Allen. Hey, who knows? But that's all I have to say about the Saints.
Ray, tell me something. So it seems as if, for one, that we're all on the same prediction that we don't think the Saints are going anywhere. They're probably going right to their houses. But um, tell me this, because I know we were last week we were talking about changes that the Saints should make. And I'm unsure. Did you see the interview with Cam Jordan? How he was basically speaking about um what he sees, his predictions basically for the Saints, that he basically think that they only can work on what they can work on here at present time. Do you think they are not looking far enough on things they can work on, whether it's this season or next season? What are your thoughts?
Could you kind of reiterate that question to
So
make?
basically, he was saying that they can't. There's not much they can do this season. They just need to focus on making some changes. And I know y'all were talking about prediction. Do you think he's washed up? And do you think that there are bigger changes that needs to be made in with the Saints, uh with their administration, basically the staffing, faculty and staff, as well as with the players? Or do you think it's just the coach that is making bad decisions versus the players not being able to execute?
So I guess what you're trying to ask is like, do the Saints need to just make changes, or so basically, I mean, the Saints been working with what they've been working with this whole season. Like, you in the season, you really can't make too many changes, anything like that. So yeah, the Saints just got to work with what they got and focus on their strong suits. I mean, you see what you got with Derek Carr. Ain't too much changing that. You got a defense that shows up when they feel like it, mainly because of their age and their cash tank. But yeah, like he's right. They got to work with what they work with and just hope the things go their way, which most likely not. Yeah, you got to make changes. A change will come. Change has to come this off season. The
So,
change.
do you think the coach will be there next season, or do you think this is the end of his role with the Saints?
I hope so. That's all I can say. I hope he not there. I hope
Coach,
that.
do you think this is the end of his road, or do
Well,
you think they will find place for him somewhere else?
well, to answer this question and the previous questions, first and foremost, what you say Cam Jordan said in that interview, it sounds like a play from the post game press conference playbook of Dennis Allen. That didn't sound like Cam Jordan. That sounded like Dennis Allen, and that's what Dennis Allen says after every Saints loss. Hey, we need to work on this, and we need to fix this, and we need to change that. To me, it's just a, a way of making an excuse and basically saying that, hey, we not doing what we're supposed to do. So let's come up with some kind of excuse for why this didn't happen. We need to do better. We need to do better. Like, man, look, I'm tired of this. We need to do better crap.
Do better.
Like Grandma was basically saying, in terms of Cam Jordan, truthfully speaking, let's be honest, he's seen his better days. However, I think he still has some juice left in the tank. The issue is in terms of the Saints, the head coach and his quarterback that he coached when he was in Las Vegas. They both the biggest issue the Saints have at this point. And just to kind of address what you asked in terms of addressing your question, essentially, I don't have a crystal ball, so I can't look into the future. But in all actuality, Gail Benson just needs to clean house. She needs to get rid of. Now, some people say Mickey Loomis and Jeff Allen. It's 50-50 on whether you should get rid of both of them. But you definitely need to get rid of Dennis Allen and Pete Carmichael, the entire coaching staff. And like we said, maybe you could bring in, Randall said Bill Belichick. Me personally, my preference would be somebody like an Eric Bieniemy. But the fact that this is South Louisiana, and this right here, this is a huge issue. More than likely, you'll probably never see one of these kind of coaches, the head coach for the New Orleans Saints. So yeah, that probably won't happen. So maybe you have to settle for somebody like a Bill Belichick. If you get Belichick, cool. But what they need to do is they need to draft a quarterback of the future. Hopefully, Jaden Daniels. If not Michael Penix Jr., someone of that caliber. And you stuck with Derek Carr again next year. However, you just let him play out the season. Then after that, you part ways with him, and you go with your quarterback of the future, Jaden Daniels, whatever the case may be. In addition to that, I said this a couple shows back, but basically, well, actually, I said the previous show and the show before that show, but basically, the Saints just need to take a stick of dynamite to this team and blow it up. Keep all your young cornerstone type pieces like maybe on the offensive side, Miller, players like that. A.T. Perry, maybe you could bring Shaq Davis up to the main roster. Those type of players defensively, you get rid of all your older pieces. Like, once next year is up, let Cam Jordan go. Maybe you could get rid of trade DeMario Davis. Definitely let the Honey Badger go. You definitely, let all of these older guys, just part ways with them. And you just start afresh anew with a young team. And like Rambo was saying, I think his analogy of the Houston Texans is perfect. You see, they got a young quarterback of the future as their starting quarterback. They got a lot of young pieces in place. That's what the Saints need to do. They need to go in a different direction.
So, guys, let me ask this, and then we're gonna move on. What do you think about what they should do with Jameson? But Winston, what's up? Let's start with you, Ray.
I mean, just let them walk, because we just holding James Winston back at this point. Just let him walk and see what other team you could go to and possibly start at.
Yeah, because I noticed they are not utilizing him, not one bit. Coach.
Well, truthfully speaking, I don't know if y'all saw what transpired with Sean Payton and with Russell Wilson.
Yes,
Sean Payton has benched Russell Wilson. Truthfully speaking, if Dennis Allen, if it really was about winning, because in most instances, well, I mean, it's obvious at this point that the Denver Broncos are going to part ways with Russell Wilson.
Yes,
I agree. I mean, his guaranteed money is up. That's what they're saying. Like, we already wasted enough resources in you. We wasted a couple number one draft picks. We wasted draft picks. We wasted all this on you. We going in a different direction. If the Saints really was concerned about winning, what Dennis Allen would do is he would bench Derek Carr and he will start Jameis Winston. However, since Derek Carr has a lot of guaranteed money left on his contract, it's not going to happen. Financially, it's not feasible. In all actuality, if you ask me which quarterback right now gives the Saints the best chance to win, I know Rude Dog, he kind of feels like, it's 6 in one hand and half a dozen in the other hand with Jameis Winston and Derek Carr. But I disagree with them in that regard. I really feel like Jameis Winston gives them the best chance to win. To me, what I would do is I would bench Carr and I would start Winston because Winston gives you the best chance to win. Now, is that going to happen? No, it's not going to happen because they have too much money invested in Derek Carr. And what's going to happen more than likely is just say they do beat the Bucs tomorrow. They probably lose next week to the Falcons. Just say best case scenario, they beat both the Bucs and the Falcons. They probably get smacked in the first round of the playoffs. So either way, even if the Saints are fortunate enough to make the playoffs, they won't be there long. And like Raymond said, at this point, Jameis Winston, his contract is up at the end of the season. More than anything, the Saints are holding Jameis Winston hostage. So after this season, you have all this money tied up in Derek Carr. Derek Carr is going to be your starter next year. I say during the all season in the draft, you get your quarterback of the future, and you let him just be waiting in the wings. What's going to happen is they're going to let Winston go because his contract is up. Another team is going to get him, maybe to be a backup or maybe be their starter to to be a, a stopgap solution, meaning do the same thing they doing probably should do with Derek Carr is get you a young quarterback of the future, and you let James Winston start in the time being. And once they let Winston go, that'll be it. And pointing out what my brother Jared Levin Green said, he agreed James Winston is the best option to win in his opinion. And I agree. I think at this point, James Winston gives them the best chance to win.
And with that, Jared, it just it's whether or not they utilize him, and I don't foresee that. But guys, let's move on and let's talk about that. Let's jump into the NBA. So Coach, let's start with you. What do you think it's how the NBA is going about the Pelicans again, with the Grizzlies and how they went into overtime? What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, it seems as if, since the night Ja came back, the Pelicans had a huge 24-point lead. They blew that lead, and with the last basket of the game, he made the game-winning basket, Ja Morant, and they beat the Pelicans by 2. This time they're going overtime, and they beat the Pelicans 116 to 115. So it seems as if at this point, even though they only won 6 games prior to his return, with him being out with a 25-game suspension, basically I kind of feel like the Grizzlies have the Pelicans number. And even though they bounced back and they've won, like Raymond said the same thing about the Saints. Raymond said this a couple weeks ago. Basically, it's like, they beat a good team here and there, but for the most part, if you look at all of the games the Pelicans have been winning, they've been beating all of the losing type teams, for the exception of maybe like the Timberwolves here. For the most part, all the teams they've beaten teams like the Spurs, those type of teams. But when they play against teams like the Lakers, like the Grizzlies, those teams, I mean, the Lakers aren't exactly setting the world on fire at this point either. And the Grizzlies, they still have a losing record, even though Ja has returned, because they lost so many games in his absence. To me, at this point, it seems like whenever the Pelicans step up in competition and they play against like a playoff caliber team, they're not getting the job done. So, hopefully they could turn things around. Hopefully when it comes to Zion Williamson, his conditioning improves. He gets into basketball shape, the next few months. And hopefully they hit their stride, at the like middle of April, and they roll into the playoffs with some momentum and they can make a run. But as of right now, the way they're going, they probably end up in the play-in tournament, and they might not even make the playoffs the way they're going. So hopefully they could get things going in the right direction at the right time of year.
Okay, Ray, what are your thoughts?
Man, that first game against the Grizzlies, man, that one irked because they was up by 24 and it looks like this should be a runaway game and an easy win, but they let Ja get on fire and come back. The last time they played the Grizzlies, I was at the game, and man, they really should have won that game. If it wasn't for that stupid foul that they called on Jonas Valanciunas on Jared Jackson, I believe he went to the free throw line and essentially should have won the game for the Grizzlies, but he missed the free throw. But it's just that following up 2 days after that, they beat the Jazz, which I think the Jazz is a pretty good team, but it's like, man, the Pelicans should definitely be in the top 6, but they keep finding ways to hold themselves back. Zion is not at his full form yet. I feel like hopefully he gets there by the end of the season when playoff time comes. CJ, it's like he's inconsistent in games. One game he'll shoot well, the next game he'll just be like 1 for 8 from the 3-point line. But that's for the Pelicans. I feel like the Pelicans are unlike the Saints. They're going to get it together. They're going to find themselves. And, I'm very optimistic about the Pelicans unless they give me a reason not to be. The Pelicans gonna find themselves. I just see it happening. Um, but yeah, as far as the rest of the NBA, it's kind of wide open for the on the West, I believe. On the East, it's not. It's two teams that's I highly believe that's going to the finals from the East is either going to be one of them green teams, the Bucks or the Celtics. But on the West, it's like, yeah, the Lakers good, but they still got a losing record, I believe, and they still like what in the bottom 10. Like they so yeah, they won it in season the in season tournament. But that is not the finals or anything like that. But I feel like the West is wide open. The Nuggets is still a Nuggets, but they don't look as dominant and as strong as it was looking last year. But yeah, that's just my perspective so far in the NBA season.
Okay, Coach, would there be anything that you would like to add to Ray's comments? Because I wouldn't even lie, like Ray said, that was it did hurt when you were watching the game the first time they played the Grizzlies, because you see them with this big lead, like Ray said, and then at the end they just gave it up, and then here the second time around they couldn't pull it through again, and I see like tomorrow they have a game against the Lakers, and I just how they are going, I just don't see them winning tomorrow. I don't want to be so negative, but I just what things you think they need to do to make something happen for the Pelicans?
Well, truthfully speaking, I think they're gonna beat the Lakers because the way Darvin Ham is playing his lineup is stupid. He benched Rui Hachimura. He benched D'Angelo Russell. He benched Austin Reeves. He's bringing him off the bench, and he's starting, Jared Vanderbilt. I mean, Jared Vanderbilt is not a starter. I mean, I don't, and I think the thing about it is a lot of times coaches like to mold teams in their image, and Cam Reddish and Jared Vanderbilt. I think they solid players to bring off the bench. But in the NBA, those guys are not starters. You know what I'm saying? So, I think you put Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and Taurean Prince at a disadvantage when you have these two guys starting and the guys that really should be starting, and Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell. And those guys, Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, Rui Hachimura, those three should be your starters, truthfully speaking. So I think they definitely could beat the Lakers. But I agree with what Ramos said in terms of the first time they played the Grizzlies when the night Ja returned. That was a heart-crushing loss because, you're up by 24 in the first half. There's no way they should have lost that game. And, like Rudolph was saying, you really can't blame it on one particular person. No one person is at fault. You win as a team, you lose as a team. But at the same token, like Ramos pointed out earlier, CJ McCollum, in those big moments, he had to step up, And, one instance, he shot an air ball when the Pelicans were up like 3. And then when the game was tied, they doubled BI, and BI kicked him the ball, and all he was backboard. So in those instances, CJ McCollum has to play better. Like I said earlier, Zion, his conditioning. He needs to eat better, eat cleaner. And in addition to that, those off days or whatever the case may be, or even days they have games, he needs to get up early. He needs to do extra conditioning to get himself in the shape that he's necessary. Does he have the discipline to do that? He hasn't demonstrated that he does. So that's going to be an issue. And the thing about it is, he has the type of talent and potential to be an all-time great type player. However, even though he had a great career, somebody like Vince Carter, he had like the same potential. Even though he's a great player, he's a future Hall of Famer. If Vince Carter would have had a mindset like a Jordan or like a Kobe Bryant, we would consider Vince Carter to be in that Mount Rushmore of players also. And I think Zion, he's gonna fit into that category in terms of right now he's not reaching his fullest potential. If he played to his maximum capability and his maximum potential, Zion would be like one of the top 3 players in the NBA, hands down, easy. Because from a talent standpoint, he has more talent than Joel Embiid, not Joel Embiid. I'm sorry, the Joker, and he has more talent than somebody like the Joker, but he's not doing everything he needs to put himself in the best position to be successful. So hopefully he could get it right. Hopefully the Pelicans could get it right. I think Raymond made an excellent point. I think they can get it going in the right direction. I have more confidence in the Pelicans than I do the Saints, but there's still no guarantee that they get the way they need to be going.
Okay, so Ray, are you in agreement with Coach?
Yeah, I'm definitely in agreement with Coach. For Zion to get to that point where he could drop 40 in the game.
Yes, yes. That would be awesome. And maybe the Pelicans can do a little bit more than what they've been doing in the past. So with that being said, guys, we are at the end of our show. And what are your closing comments, Ray? Closing thoughts?
My closing thoughts is Saints need help, and being optimistic about the Pelicans. Hopefully they get back in form, which we literally was just saying. Don't let the Saints gaslight you. If they don't make the playoffs, we all knew it. If they do, don't expect nothing much. And just we excited to see what boxing has to offer in 2024. This will be the last show of 2023. The next show will be in 2024. So we're gonna see what 2024 got to offer. Shout out to everybody that tuned in today. Glad y'all came and listened to us. Go follow us on our social media platforms. King Ray on Instagram, Ray Swank on YouTube, and Raymond Collins on Facebook and stuff like that. And that's it.
Well put, Ray. Coach, what are your thoughts?
Well, first and foremost, in terms of like final short thoughts, just to kind of recap, Devin Haney is my fighter of the year. That's first and foremost. In terms of HBCU football, it's going to be interesting to see if Fred McNair becomes the next head coach of Texas Southern, or is it going to be Andre Johnson? To me, that's the easy choice. It should be Fred McNair, but Andre Johnson played in the NFL. Whether Willie Simmons, is he going to leave to go to Duke, or is he going to stay at FAMU? But more than anything, hopefully next year, Southern University wins the SWAC and the Celebration Bowl. That's my biggest hope. In terms of the Saints, like Raymond said, too many times over the years, the Saints have let me down. I love the Saints, but I'm not putting too much hope and stock into the Saints. If they do good, cool, but I'm not banking on it. And in terms of the Pelicans, just food for thought in terms of Zion. We say this all the time, but just imagine if Zion had a mindset of a Jordan or a Kobe. How great would he be? So that's just kind of food for thought. But in terms of the show, hopefully everyone enjoyed the show. Please hit the like button if you have not done so already. Please subscribe to the channel. Also, check out some of my other LDBC brethren. My brother Jared 11 Green. We may not do a show later on today. Tomorrow's New Year's Eve, so we'll see, what we do on that end. Also, we just appreciate everybody that's been rocking with us since day one. Shout out to Motivation to Be a Millionaire. Shout out to Relaxing Calm Rain. Shout out to Jay Barr, Adrian Crook, and my brother Jared 11 Green. We appreciate the full house we had today. Like I say, share, subscribe. We appreciate y'all, especially everybody that's been rocking with us since day one. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the show. Y'all have a blessed and a happy New Year's Eve and a blessed and happy New Year's Day. Hopefully y'all get y'all 2024 off to the right start We'll catch y'all on the rebound. Y'all have a blessed and phenomenal holiday season. Peace and blessings to everyone.
And guys, thank y'all so much for watching. And it has been awesome to be here with you guys, and for everyone watching, family, because we consider you all family. Thank you also again. And if you have any topics that you would like us to talk about, please put them in the comment section below. Please like, subscribe, share, and please, guys, remember that if you only put your mind to it, that anything is possible, that the sky is the limit. So please, guys, you have a happy new year. Blessings to you. Y'all have a great day.